now welcome to the Great Cigar and Pipe Show. Presented by Hiram and Solomon Cigars, the Oliva Cigar Family, and the J.C. Newman Cigar Company. Coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
Hey. The boys are back. The boys are back in town.
Wow.
We
survived.
We did.
We made it back to Chicago. Okay.
4
We're
days
in one
of lunacy.
piece.
Yeah. Nobody got arrested. Nobody got busted.
And nobody got hurt.
Allegedly.
That's
Allegedly.
right. I'm not supposed to say.
Yes,
Well, you see, I kept to the script. I didn't let us know what happened to Kyle. Oh, I'm sorry. But anyway.
Yeah. Everyone's wondering, where's Kyle?
Where's Kyle? Everyone's wondering, where is Kyle?
Nobody got arrested. Bullshit.
Oh, we should do an introduction just in case we get newbies on right away. But hey, share with as Ronnie likes to say, folks, if you're on, make sure you're sharing your stream with everyone that you know, and even the people that you don't know. Just spam them with our show, because they're about to get some great, when I say great information and great products. Holy Joe.
Yeah.
Holy Joe?
Holy Joe.
Holy Joe.
Well,
Holy
it begins
Joe.
with a J, Bob.
Holy Joe. Oh my God. All I could say is Vicente
has certainly hit a.
I love the name.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I love the band. How could you not fall in love with this beautiful?
This is unbelievable.
Put it up, like, go ahead, show that.
Right.
Let me get a close up of that, Joey. Hold
Look
on.
at this, guys. I don't think I've ever seen a band like this anywhere.
This is the cigar we're doing tonight. This is the Gold Standard V by Vicente Blends.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have Michael Pickholtz. He's the CEO of Vicente Blends. He's gonna join us and give us the rundown on the brand and the cigar.
It's a ring, guys. It really is. I mean, just in case what it's it's a ring.
Yeah, very unique.
And it's got the V, Ronnie, for victory. I mean,
absolutely.
This is a victory cigar. This is when you're out and you want to enjoy life.
Yeah.
This is the cigar you're going to probably want to enjoy it too, because that V, one of our buddies, Chris Eden, said it would be really cool to have all the rings and have them on each finger.
That'd be pretty cool.
And then you could use it as a
brass knuckles. There you go.
So, absolutely. You could be Mr. T on your hand.
That's a brass knuckles. I mean, consider you can buy for $59.
Yeah, but still, I mean, this is really awesome.
Yeah, this is class.
Yeah,
this is a class.
It's an upper class cigar for sure, and that's why we got to go to the upper class Glenmorangie 18.
Yeah,
we have their global brand ambassador on with us, David Blackmore. He's going to give us some nice information about Glenmorangie, about this whiskey. I'm going to be doing this organically as we go. I'm going to be taking some notes, giving some pairing notes as we go, because we just got back from Tampa, so I haven't had a chance to actually do this before the show and take down, really good notes. So we'll see how that goes. Then we also have Genevieve Ishtar on with us. She is the webmaster for Whiskey Network magazine. That is where I write our pairing reviews. She's going to provide us some insight on what she's getting on the whiskey and what's new with her. And before we do all that, we're going to give a little recap of all our pairings that we've done throughout the year. Frank, if you can throw up the first one, that is going to be the Twisted Fate by Zeal Cigars with the FEW bourbon. And of course, God bless Brad Reith and his family, especially during this holiday season, as we lost him in the beginning of the year. Our second is going to be that West Tampa Red with the Barrel Crafts Foundation bourbon. Number 3. is at Act 2 by Noble Cigars with Rampur Asava. That was an incredible pairing.
That was a great pairing, too.
Yeah, that was awesome. Number 4 is going to be the Edición 1675 Morado by Lampert Cigars with that Proof and Woods cabinet bourbon.
Nice.
And number 5 is going to be, that Belladama A cigar with the High and Wicked cast strength bourbon. Number 6, Segovia Ste Esteli and the Maduro semi box press with the Single Cask Nations Inchgour 11. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Number 7, of course, we did the cigar in the bottle, and I pitted that up against the Barrel Craft Mitsunara bourbon. Of course, the Reserva Special by Vartan Safarian.
Quite excellent.
Excellent.
And the cigar in the bottle that took the cake over the Barrel Craft Mitsunara. That is a pairing made for each other.
Yeah, these were perfect.
Made in heaven.
Yeah, that was.
Number 8, that's going to be the Vintage Toro by Broncano Cigars with that Cavalan cast strength Solis. Fantastic pairing there. Number 9. The Single Cask Nation Habano with that FEW Vermouth finished bourbon. Number 10, the Maroon by Black Star Line Cigars with that Virginia Distillery Cabernet Cask American Single Malt. What a unique pairing that was. Number 11 is going to be the Don Doroteo, the Salt of the Earth Piedra Angular with Whistle Pig's 12-year-old World Rye. These were all incredible pairings that we've done throughout the year. And what I love about this is you're getting a wide variety of cigars, different types of whiskeys. We're not just sticking to bourbon. We're not just sticking to single malts. We're doing world whiskeys like the Indian single malt from, the Asava, or we're doing an American single malt even from that Virginia distillery as well. So getting a lot of wide variety of flavor profiles here on this show and in the Whiskey Network magazine. I'm going to announce my favorite pairing of the year, and that is going to be the Segovia Ste Esteli Maduro with that Single Cask Nation Inchgour 11. That was just such an incredible pairing with such deep, complex notes. I'm sure you guys will all agree.
Yeah, that was
that was just a fantastic pairing. And I will give my top 3 cigars of the year towards the end of the show. I will give my Whiskey Network cigar of the year, which is my personal picked from these 12. But my top 3 is going to be that West Tampa Red.
Yep. We go to that West
Tampa
Red. Yep.
Yeah. The Segovia Ste Esteli Maduro semi box press.
Nice. Whoops.
And these are in no specific order. These are just my top 3.
Yep.
And then number 3 is going to be the Vintage Toro by Broncano Cigars.
Nice.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Towards the end of the show, we're going to announce that 2024 Whiskey Network Cigar of the Year. At this point, let's bring on our guests and let's get into this cigar and this whiskey.
And what I want to do is show people what we're going to give away tonight. It's not going to be a hashtag, so people may feel a little bit better, that they might have a better chance.
Yeah, they might, or
they might not. You never know. But you're going to be able to enjoy that full. I call it a full course meal with the Vicente blends. I mean, that's that 4-course. Of incredibility, really, if you can use the word incredibility.
It's like a holiday meal.
It is, and with the Glenmorangie, what a prize package for people today.
It's unbelievable.
So stick around. That's all you gotta be in it to win it, and that means
here's the bottle.
Yep, it's there. Joey's not making believe.
Christmas coming early to somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this retails for like $160, guys. So
exactly. And so do the cigars. So
I'm gonna go ahead and just take this cool ring band off and light this cigar up.
I might do the same. And let me get everybody else on board. Let's get David, let's get Genevieve, and let's get Michael up on the stage. Let's see.
I got my new pinky ring.
Isn't it great, though? It's a great piece of to have a conversation with when people talk to you, man.
Perfect.
It's beautiful.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, everybody. We have Michael in the pink shirt. We got Genevieve, of course. And then we've got David. He's got his whole bar behind him. And
That's his master bedroom.
He's ready to go.
Yeah.
So we'll go right to Michael. Can you tell us how you got into the cigar industry, a little bit about Vicente blends, and then we'll try and get into the cigar a little bit.
Well, I actually, after the intro you guys just gave the start of the show, I think I'm just going to say happy holidays and log off. I'm not sure I can do any better than that. So
sure you can. Send us more cigars. It's okay. It's good.
Well, maybe if you invite me to Tampa next time, we'll do that.
You have to get there. I'm telling you, that's a place where you need to be. Boutique cigars galore. It's perfect to promote the advertisement you're going to give. Networking is fabulous. Michael, I'm telling you, book it. It's a must.
Great event.
Beautiful. Your cigars are going to fly off the table. I really believe
it. Next year, I think we're definitely going to try to get down there for it. I've heard they're going to be expanding it out into a possibly as much as a week-long event as well.
At least maybe a long weekend. I don't know, but there's so much going to happen down there. But for you, it's a must. I really believe you are going to make a big jump.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate it. Yeah, we're hoping so. We're very new in the market, but we're getting a lot of great feedback. Everybody seems to love our cigars, and in just a matter of months, I think we've gone from wait, who are you guys? What's the name of that cigar? To oh wait, I recognize those rings. To can I have one of those? So we're pretty happy with where we've gotten so far.
wow.
Those rings are fabulous. I love them. Like I would buy it. I think I told you beforehand, I would buy it just for that. I think you have 4 different colors, don't you?
We actually have 5.
5.
So we have there's 4 colors, 5 rings. We have the Vicente is our 5th one, which is not a V shape. Oops. You can see it. It's actually a wedding band ring.
Wow.
And this is, I assume later on when we talk about the cigars, I'll explain them, but this is our brick and mortar exclusive that only goes to, our good retail partners. So we actually have 5 different rings. We have that one. We have the gold standard that we're smoking tonight. We have the palladium, which is a silver ring. War, which is black with blue crystals, and honor, which is gold with red rubies.
Oh my gosh, with crystals.
Honor.
Look at all that jewelry, Genevieve, just in time for your birthday.
It's just beautiful.
I know.
What a beautiful collection of cigars, and and I like the fact that you call them vaults where they're stored, Michael. Go
ahead.
Yeah,
I was going to say that there's a reason for that as well, and that's because these actually aren't cigar boxes. Hold on, I think I have one I can hold up for you. But if you look at the box, they're not standard cigar boxes. These are actually made by a jewelry company. They're 16-layer lacquered jewelry boxes that you can use either as, women can use them as a jewelry box. For men, they can be a humidor or a valet. This tray here, what you see in red, lifts out and it's all cedar lined. So you can throw a small humidor or a Bovida in, and it's a desktop humidor. Or I keep one in my bedroom, and I use it sort of as my men's valet for my watches and cufflinks and things like that.
Right.
16 coats of lacquer.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're full jewelry boxes. They're not cigar boxes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you get a jewelry, you get a jewelry box. You get cigars and you get rings for jewelry in there. What more can you put in there besides $1,000 bill? I don't know.
we like to think great cigars, but
oh my God!
Oh, I'm loving every puff
This is good,
of the cigar.
Wow.
Smooth.
Full flavored. It is the perfect draw, which is what you expect of a luxury brand. But the flavor notes on this Bob, I mean, outrageous,
Delicious.
Yeah,
Get like some oakiness and some floral at the same time.
Yeah, you get a little oaky and a little floral, both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna get people here. What's the best way to, since you're new, how can people get your cigars or the jewelry box, or the $1,000 or the rings? How can they get that?
Well, the $1,000, hopefully they'll send our way.
That's right.
In that direction. In terms of the cigars, you can pretty much find out all about us and get more information on our philosophy, sort of how we came together, how Vince, my partner and the original founder of the company and our master blender, Vincent McGlone, who I like to call the mad scientist. Yeah, there you can see that's actually a nice picture. As I say, he's an absolute mad scientist. There's certain people like artists that they pick up a pencil the first time, they can draw, and you just kind of look and think, wow, I just feel inadequate. That's the way he is. It's like he just touches tobaccos and puts them together, and the flavors are like nothing you've had in terms of doing that. So you can find all that information on our website, which is pretty easy. It's vicenteblends.com. We're in, if you Google us, as I said, we just started, going retail about 7 months ago, I think March, and we're already in, I think, about 35 locations nationwide. And we started a partnership 2 months ago with Luxury Cigar Club. So you can find all of the collection cigars on there. And after the new year, you'll even be able to get our new Sleek line that's going to be coming out, which is going to be our new Churchill line.
Wow.
Yeah, I love this. I saw this posted on your Instagram, and I was like, wow, what a beautiful picture, because it really kind of showcases the bands. And it's just an upscale, luxurious cigar for folks who really want to celebrate their independence, literally. And it's just a beautiful representation. Thank you, Michael, for bringing this to our attention and to
My pleasure.
It really is.
I feel like I moved up to the east side now.
Not bad for a dry cleaner.
Wow.
I'll tell you, I used to live on that east side. I moved out about 15 years ago, and I'm much happier having trees and grass. So,
what street? What street were you on?
I was on 3rd Avenue in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Good area. Nice area.
86th Street. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice area.
Yeah, I was right off of there.
Hmm.
I was there for about 17 years. Now I'm out in the suburbs, and I have trees and grass, and much more relaxing cigar lounges. So I'll keep it for now.
That's on the island, right? Long Island.
No, I'm in Jersey.
I'm in
Jersey. Oh, Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, what exit?
I couldn't tell you, but I'm about 7 miles outside the city. I was a Bronx boy, born in the Bronx, and grew up outside of DC in Maryland, and moved back about 30 years ago, and lived mostly in Manhattan, and now out in Jersey.
Nice. I grew up in New Jersey, so I grew up in North Bergen, New Jersey, which is right across the
and then all of us lived in Wayne for
New
15
Jersey,
years.
So yeah.
Oh, you're right next door. I'm
okay.
I'm located in Ridgewood, and actually now I'm sitting in Park Ridge at the new Costa del Tobacco in the members lounge. I figured it was a nice quiet place to sit and drink and smoke with you guys.
Perfect. Perfect.
Beautiful. Well, congratulations. This is exceptional. The box is amazing. So far, the ring, the drawer.
You can't call it
the
a box,
retro.
Ron. You can't call
the jewelry.
The vault.
Yeah.
It's a vault.
The vault.
Okay.
It is a vault. I mean, I'm not going to belittle the box and call it a box, because it's not.
Okay.
I'm going to call it exactly what it is.
I bet you these sell down at the Diamond District, right?
You could actually. I could see some very rare ones.
I'll tell you what's funny about that is, when we started with this, and Vince started designing the rings and the boxes, he didn't like anything he was getting back from standard box makers, and he wanted to have the design, and he hates cello, because obviously I think we'd all agree that while it's wonderful for protecting cigars, you lose the beauty of the construction.
Right.
So he actually reached out to a jewelry company, and they've been designing, I guess, probably for about 2 or 3 years, starting with the different mock-ups we did. They've been designing and making our rings. And last summer, I guess spring, summer, when we started designing the bands for the sleeks, and those are going to be, those are sort of a special vinyl, we call it shadow print, a little bit different design, because those are significantly less price than these are. We reached out to the same company to see what they could do for us, and we didn't realize that they didn't know. And the rep who works with us on it looked and said, "Oh my God, we were wondering who your clients are." I mean, I think they thought we represented nothing but like defensive linemen or something. She said, "We were wondering why you were ordering thousands of rings in these giant sizes, who your customers must be." Nothing else. They had no idea we were putting them on cigars. So now they know.
What a great idea. I mean, absolutely fantastic idea. And they really do. It's perfect. It fits my pinky perfectly. Remember when I drink, pinky out? Oh, I'm going to show this off big time. I love it.
So our first direction that we go in a pairing is the cigar to the whiskey, and what I'm loving about this cigar is, and the whiskey is like the subtlety of the notes.
Yes,
like how smoothly they are delivered to the palate in such a subtle manner, that it's just this nice and smooth and creamy. And when you do the cigar to this whiskey. And we will get to the whiskey in a moment. I just get like nice, like fruity. It's almost like the cigar is elevating the fruitiness of the whiskey.
Yes.
You're just getting like this fruit bomb salad flavor note that I would have to just really spend some time and do my thing with the headphones and music to really get all the specific notes. But that's kind of where I'm going with this. In the cigar to the whiskey direction. It's a very a very upper class pairing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be very interested to see what everybody else says when they get on in a minute or two. Because when you all first reached out and Ronnie asked me to do the show, and then he came back and said what we were going to be doing with the pairing. I'll be honest, my single malt is my favorite drink. There is Glenmorangie is one of my favorites. One of the first I learned to drink. I think it was the first single malt I may have ever drank back in 1993 when I was living over in England. And my favorite pairing is that with the gold standard. And when you all asked, I said, you know what, I'll leave it to David and his team. They're the experts, so let them choose. And also, I got a message back about 10 minutes later, and it just said gold standard. I said, okay, you got
it. There's just something. There's just some as a single malt Scotch whiskey drinker. There's just something that's kind of nostalgic about Glenmorangie. I think most of us started with that Glenmorangie 10. You're not buying some $70-$100 bottle. You grab that. It's like $30 or less. That Glenmorangie 10. I think now they have a new Glenmorangie 12. Which is the same whiskey aged a little bit longer, which is excellent too. But yeah, that's where I started with like Glenmorangie 10, like the monkey shoulder, just to start getting into those. Yeah, exactly. So we'll go to David and David, why don't you tell us how did you get into the whiskey industry and then lead us right into Glenmorangie.
Okay, so I guess the first part of how did I get into the whiskey industry was that I was born in Scotland. So that
would do it.
It sounds like he's from Tennessee or something like that.
So funny enough, I say that because actually growing up in Scotland, growing up in Edinburgh, I did not like whiskey. My first encounters with Scotch whiskey were, let's just say, a bit of a disaster. Round about this time of year, probably way too young. Parents were out at a holiday party, and I helped myself to my dad's drinks cabinet. And naughty, learned a lesson. Learned a
And
hard
here you
lesson.
are.
But that just put me off for a while. You know, that put me off till my early to mid 20s. I just thought I was not a whiskey of any sort drinker. Certainly not a Scotch drinker. I saw the light when I was about 23 or 24, and very rapidly after that, I joined the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. I was right down the rabbit hole, so to speak. And by the time I was about 26, I was working for the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. I was, by 27, managing their members bar in London. I was helping select single casks for bottling. And then turning at 30, I got the dream job with Glenmorangie to move to the US as their initially their East Coast ambassador, which has kind of morphed over the years into being a global brand ambassador, but still largely based in the States. So if anybody's struggling with Scotch whiskey, you're in a really safe place with me. I understand that, but you know, like any acquired taste, I would urge you, it's worth acquiring. You know?
And by 31, you were full-fledged alcoholic, right?
Pretty much, I think so.
No, he's a functioning alcoholic. Look, he's on
I'm
the show.
actually now.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it, okay?
That was in the 1940s. I'm now actually 100 and odd years old, and it's really preserving me pretty well.
Well, you're almost as good as Bob. I mean, Bob was born in 1852, and look at him now.
1843 was the foundation date of Glenmorangie, so you know.
I was there.
He
He was there. Yeah, he was 11 years old.
He was at the opening day of the distillery.
That's it.
We're talking about New Jersey, and I had to chuckle because when I moved from Scotland to the US, I literally had a one-way ticket on what was then Continental Airlines.
Yeah, I remember that.
September 2005, Edinburgh to Newark. And for the entire time I lived in the New York area, I lived in New Jersey. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah.
Well, let's ask you the question. What exit?
What's that?
Newark.
It's an old saying
Oh,
for
right.
people in Jersey. What exit you on? That's all.
So I was in Weehawken, and then
Yes, that's my old
then I
stomping
was-
ground.
and then I was in Westfield after that.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Weehawken. A beautiful view of the city,
You
though.
had that beautiful view of the New York skyline
Yeah.
in Weehawken.
Yeah,
Beautiful there.
absolutely. It's
Are you
amazing.
guys getting some like butteriness now on the cigar? Like
I'm getting
like that-
creamy butter, like almost like an Irish butter. That nice. I'm getting a little saltiness.
yeah.
Too. It's
Mhm.
really got this beautiful earthiness to it, but the minute that it touches the whiskey, it changes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Changes everything. It's just amazing because, like Joey said, there's a major citrusy
Yeah.
apple. I get that green apple
And that sweetness
and a
to it.
sweetness,
that sweetness.
but almost like a little honey.
Guys, I love this. I love this because the 18. I don't know. I think it was Dan who lined all this up, and then I'm standing in for him basically. But I don't know if he told you this, but yeah, I know I'm biased, but I do like whiskey other than just Glenmorangie and Ardbeg. But at the same time, Glenmorangie 18 would almost certainly be the whiskey I would choose as my last bottle to be like marooned on a desert island with. Precisely because it's not massively in your face. It's not a big thumping anything. It's got so much subtlety, and those fruit notes you started talking about.
Yes,
absolutely. And you said like fruit salad. Absolutely. For me, it's quite rare to find a single malt Scotch that's bursting with like almost makes you salivate, and it's like
it does. Yeah,
fruit, like mango, papaya.
Yes, exactly.
Pineapple.
Yes.
All those notes for me, if I find them in a Scotch whiskey, usually it's in a Scotch whiskey I've had to fork out many, many hundreds for.
Right.
Not $150 for.
David, what is so special about Glenmorangie that we're getting such fruitiness coming off the still?
So you see behind the bottle here, I've got this random statue of a giraffe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the giraffe. Oh, I love the giraffe.
Right. See this? Right. There's our still.
Oh,
There's our still,
wow.
and there's a giraffe. And that
Nice.
is, why do we have that? In Scotland, at the distillery, we have the tallest copper pot stills in all of Scotland. They are, just by chance, the same height as a fully grown adult male giraffe. So that's why we have a giraffe as our mascot.
Wow, that's
That's a great story.
great. Yeah.
You'll never forget that, right? I have to say, when I'm traveling the world, particularly in countries where English is not the first or even second language, maybe, trying to explain to people that no, giraffes are not native to Scotland complicates a little bit. But why is it important? Well, the neck of the still, such a tall neck of the still, we get a lot of reflux of the spirit vapors in that neck of the still. And to cut a long and fairly boring chemical story short, it maximizes copper contact with our spirit. Copper is used in stills around the world largely because it binds with a lot of things, but particularly sulfur compounds that you, trust me, don't want in large amounts in your whiskey, because it would taste like rotten eggs, sitting in traffic behind a car with a cold catalytic converter, that sort of aroma. So taller stills, lots of reflux. The spirit we get off, the new spirit, the white dog we get off at Glenmorangie, tastes like Jolly Rancher candy.
Oh, wow.
It's the craziest thing.
Wow.
So then you age that in mostly, here we're aging Glenmorangie 18 in 2 cask regimes and then bringing them back together for the bottling. 70% of what goes into the 18 is filled into American white oak ex-bourbon barrels and sits there for the full 18 years. That's easy, right?
Wow.
The 30% is the bit that's more interesting. The 30% does 15 years in American white oak ex-bourbon barrels, and then a 3-year Oloroso sherry finish. So if we were to take you all to the distillery, which would be awesome, right?
Yeah.
Break into the warehouses tonight and then go find those 2 cask types. You get 2 distinct flavor profiles. The full American oak for 18 years, if you know Glenmorangie original, just kind of think like that, but a little bit more intense. And actually, from time to time, maybe a bit too astringent and a bit too tannic. The American oak might have overtaken the odd barrel.
Right.
Which is exactly the reason that we go to the lengths of making that 30%, which has had a 3-year fairly heavy sherry finish.
Gotcha.
When we combine it back at roughly that proportion, 70-30, you don't end up with it, as you can taste. It's not a sherry bomb. It's barely even kind of noticeably a sherried whiskey, but it polishes off, it rounds off any ragged edges from the odd American oak cask that hasn't quite done exactly what we want. So you end up with the best of both worlds. You get this lovely tropical fruit character, which subsides into like creme brulee.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
To
It's
the
so
distillery.
To the
Run.
Let's go. I tell you what, a couple of years ago, I shouldn't admit this, very briefly, I was at the distillery with a couple of guests, and somebody from the distillery team, I won't say who because that'll get them in trouble, had the keys, and then suddenly there was an emergency. They had to run off for a minute, and for about 5 minutes, I had the keys to the distillery.
And suddenly all the whiskey went missing.
Now you know where.
The first thing I said to Dan
he
Cole, who I think you know Dan, I was like, Dan, we need to find a bar of soap quickly.
Wow.
Well, I know where all the bottles went. Look behind them. They're all lined up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Yes.
So Genevieve, do you want to give us your what your thoughts are on the whiskey so far?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have already said a lot of the flavors that I've got. He just kind of came off with a creme brulee because I was smelling like a burnt, almost smoky aroma to it. And then it was like, okay, yeah, the burnt caramel, it's not quite, not quite bitter yet.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. And then
That was a small sip, wasn't it?
I only have this much in my glass. Just sips for me. It's got a taste to me across my tongue that maybe more of a sensation that it's I got the salivation.
Yeah,
Which
big
is
time
crazy.
salivation.
Yeah, I get that with a few different whiskeys, but it's not common. So I love that. There's no saltiness to me, which I would love to have with that. But I'm a brine person anyway, and I know you guys aren't on the shore. So
That's where the cigar comes in.
oh, see, yeah, you said it was salty.
No, that
Exactly.
cigar has that little minerality to it that really heightens all that tropical fruit in a way that Joe, it just like
But
almost
it has almost a lime pith finish.
Right.
So it's like the lime citrus, but it's a little bitter note at the end, just as it finally comes out on my tongue.
Yeah.
But it isn't quite so fruity tropical, like, oh, I taste pineapple. It's more of just an overall feeling of it. So it'd probably be what you were saying about how the copper rounds, or it was the Oloroso sherry rounds it out.
Yeah, you get that
this
on the nose. The tropical fruit on the nose is very
right.
pineapple-y. You know, Joe?
Just taking it
it's
all
got
in.
a lot in there. I mean, this kind of reminds me of Lyre's. Is it Lyre's golden syrup?
Oh, Lyle's golden syrup. Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's not quite sweet, but it has this like kind of almost herbaceousness to it. So
right. So when we take this pairing in the direction of switching it up to whiskey to the cigar, that fruitiness like really like settles down with like a nice like oaky char, and I get mint on the finish that just kind of lingers.
Mint. I was gonna say mint, but I didn't.
Dave like that. Right? Dave like that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
didn't want to lead the audience, but mint for some reason is a note that continually appears in tasting notes for the finish of lots of Glenmorangies, and we don't actually know why. But the Quinta Rabanne port cast finish is almost like mint chocolate. The original has this kind of spearmint note, but it's here as well. Absolutely.
Right. And this cigar is really ramping up that mint.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
That mint, totally. Absolutely.
Guys, what I love here is that I've actually found over the years, whilst 18 is my favorite whiskey, I've found it really hard to pair with cigars precisely because it's quite a delicate whiskey. So I love the fact that we've found one that actually not only pairs well, it complements each other. Really.
Absolutely, and that's the subtletiness of this cigar, but this like the smooth creaminess and then the subtle notes that glide across your palate that just marry perfectly with this Glenmorangie 18.
That's thank you for saying that, because it's actually a key part of how we make our cigars and the way that we pick our blends. One of the things that when Vince and I first came together and we agreed on and kind of became friends long before we started working together, and I joined him on this project, was our frustration with cigars seems to be an arms race. Can we get it bigger, bolder, stronger, pepperier? And whether you're relating it from cigars to whiskey or to food, there's a certain point where you're making those flavors too strong and they're overpowering, or you can't get those subtle nuances. And so all of our cigars in the collection series, as we like to say to people, they're medium strength and they're full flavor, not full, not strong. And some of that goes into the construction, because if you're getting proper airflow through the cigar and you're getting those flavors and you don't have to get all that heat by pulling on it real strong, you can get those subtle things. And it's great to hear that not just in the cigar, but that it works as well this way, David. Thank you very much.
No, absolutely. And I was also struck by the fact you described your cigar maker, you found it as a mad scientist, which is exactly the terminology we use for Dr. Bill Lumsden, our master
Absolutely.
distiller.
Right.
He's our mad scientist.
He is the mad scientist.
Listen, he's I count him, I think he would count me, I count him as a very good friend. And he wouldn't be upset to know that I had called him completely batshit crazy as well. In the best way possible.
No, David, I will second that. I will second that.
Yeah, all the best people are. If you're not crazy, you're boring.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm not boring. So anyway, I expect a letter from my lawyer right away calling me that shit. But honestly, this look at the ring. People asking what's the cigar, the newbies on there. Look at the burn.
Yeah.
Look at the ring on this, guys.
Yeah,
And,
Michael, for those who tuned in a little late, do you want to give us the blend?
Sure. So this is the gold standard. This was sort of, I'd say, the base original Vicente cigar. It is one of our 2 Dominican puros. It has our sort of proprietary fillers in it, a Dominican binder, and it's a Criollo 98 wrapper. So, again, that's kind of where I go to it when I say, sometimes I shake my head with things that, Vince will come up with. I'd like to take credit. There's a lot of ideas that I'll give him. There's also a lot of things that I just think, what is this? I mean, it's, you're combining like cotton candy and steak, and yet somehow it comes out tasting fantastic. That it's always interesting because when we tell people the different, makeups of cigars, and they'll lean towards some of the others because they think it sounds more exotic, and this is just a Dominican puro. And again, you can just see by the way it's put together, the construction of the draw. It doesn't taste like anything you've had, and
right. No aftertaste. No aftertaste. It's just clean.
You know what? Really, I'm about second, third on the cigar. And I think what it's doing too for me is I'm getting a lot of baking spices now.
Yes, especially on the retro hell.
Yeah, on the retro, big.
Oh man, just
nutmeg,
like gingerbread cookie, boom.
Oh yeah, all over it. I mean,
yeah.
So I'm gonna do the old smoke into the Glencairn glass.
So the third and final direction that we take a pairing in is going to be the cigar smoked. Whiskey, which is just taking a puff of your cigar.
I've never seen that.
And it works best in a Glencairn, David.
Wow.
Okay. All right. And this absolutely does change the flavor of your pairing.
Wow.
When we take the pairing in this direction, and again, I'm doing this as we go. These are just some simple notes. It's like a cherry bomb smoked. Like cherry vanilla swirl with some like gingerbread on the finish thing going on there. Very, very delicious. This is actually probably the most complex direction of the pairing.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can see the smoke just sits there.
It lingers.
Yeah, look at it.
Right?
It doesn't leave the glass.
Still lingering.
Right.
Oh wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. So Genevieve, so why don't you tell us what you do for Whiskey Network and what you have going on these days?
Yeah, no, I'm a web developer and designer. So I am the webmaster for Whiskey Network. And I also do reviews and social media and all sorts of stuff for them. So I actually started out in whiskey about 10 years ago, and I learned so much about it. I wanted to keep, learning more. And so I joined up with them. And yeah, the stuff even just on this show is amazing. I know you guys have talked about the luxury stuff. So I will say that I do have a new project that's actually being released in hopefully January 2025. And it's a luxury lifestyle portal. So basically,
right up your alley there, Michael, right up your alley.
There you go.
She already pinged me. We'll be talking after the show.
That's right.
There you go.
See, folks, they're not just about cigars and whiskey. These guys can connect you in all sorts of ways.
Yes. So it's mixtae.com. It's micta, and it actually is Latin, meaning blended.
Oh,
so
nice. I like that.
I thought it was a great idea.
I like that.
So-
You know, I took Latin for 2 years in high school.
You did, and you didn't learn a thing. You didn't learn a thing.
Wow.
Cogito ergo sum.
I took pig Latin at the park.
Yeah.
Bob and I used to talk pig Latin all the time back in Ichiku.
There you go.
Wow. So I'm just really enjoying this cigar at this point.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah, it really is like he said before.
Delicious.
I'm so sorry. I know Ronnie and what's the other two names?
Frank.
Forget about him. Don't worry about it.
I'm calling Frank.
Yeah. I'm Joe. I'm Joe.
I know you, Joe. I know the rest of them. I'm talking about the two guys up in the
You
corner.
don't want to know. Forget about it. Hey, so tell us how we want to know.
That's the Bobsey
Anyway.
twins.
One Billy Bob and unknown Frank. People want to
listen
know
to
how they
them,
can get these cigars, Mike. It's how can we get them? Where can we get them? People are asking. How can we get them? Tell them, folks.
Sure,
get
you
the
can-
paper on.
You can right now, if you're going online, you can find them. You can visit us on our website, which just popped up, VicenteBlends.com. You can also find them at Luxury Cigar Club, LuxuryCigarClub.com. As I said, we're about 35, almost 40 locations nationwide, and of course, go tell your local retailers.
Right.
One of the hardest things for any new cigar company, folks, and I'm just being honest about it, is I can't tell you how many retailers I've sat down with, I've shared cigars, and they'll look at me and they'll say, "Oh my God, this is fantastic. I want this." They smoke it themselves, but the truth is, like any other business, they're going to carry what you want. So whether it's my cigar or somebody else's cigar, if you want it, go tell your retailer, and that's the easiest way to get it. Of course, also to support your local brick and mortars and lounges, because without them, we don't have a social circle that we all love.
Right.
Well, we got people from Connecticut, Delaware, New York, Jersey. Are you got a bunch of lounges in that area, or anywhere they can
Do
go
you have
and
like
take
a
a look?
store locator or something on the website, or not yet?
No, we haven't put that up yet, but we do have a number of locations in the area. We're at Cigars at Sunrise in New York. We're actually tomorrow going to be doing an event at Casa de Monte Cristo in the city.
Oh, no.
yeah.
Nice.
Stick
Beautiful
Cigars
place.
in Somerville
Beautiful
and
place.
Bayonne are carrying us. Casa del Tobacco, which, if you know them in New Jersey, some of the best locations you'll ever find in the world. They'll be carrying us shortly after the holidays. But I'll tell you right now, if you reach out, call Lewis, tell Willie, they can get them for you before then if you want them.
Wow. Like a holiday
No, I
hookup.
was reading the website a little bit there, and what I loved about it was the story and everything about the brand was very just honest and very transparent about how you came about with the brand philosophy and your blends.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I could go on, and obviously I love these cigars. I didn't go into this thinking I would ever be involved with, owning and partnering and running a cigar company. Honestly, and I had a number of people approach me about different things, and it wasn't until one day I met Vince, and it was almost by accident through somebody, and he sent me some of his cigars, and truthfully, just like you guys said, the first time I took them, I didn't smoke them. He sent me that 4-pack sampler, and I thought, these are so beautiful. How can I smoke these? I don't see them anywhere. And
That's what I
he was sending me notes, and I was giving him the short answers. And all of a sudden, one day he called. He said, "Well, so what do you think about this?" And I was kind of like, "All right, I got to be honest." He's like, "Smoke it. I'll send you another one." If you ever met Vince, that's what he is. He's a good Irish boy from Philly, and I thought, all right, fine, I got to smoke it. And that afternoon, I was sitting outside with my brother and lit it up. I took about 3 puffs, and I personally love giving people new cigars because everybody's the same. They take 1 or 2 puffs and then just watch their eyes like, what is this?
Right.
And I called him and I said, "Vince, what is this? I haven't tasted a cigar like this in over 30 years. And there is nothing that has this draw. How'd you do it?" And he kind of at the time laughed and he said, "Well, I'm an engineer by background, so that I'm not going to tell you." After I joined the company and I'm his partner, now he's told me. But
Right.
that's the thing. And really where it comes from for us is a cigar is an experience. It's not how many nodes you get, or what the tobacco is, or what you spend on it. A cigar is an experience. Bottom line, it's just like a whiskey.
A whiskey.
Right.
You sit down, you drink it, you smoke it.
Right.
Do you enjoy it? Right.
Yeah.
That's what matters. And that's what we wanted to get back to. We wanted to get back to that refined quality that we thought had been disappearing in a lot of cigars and a lot of options. And truthfully, from there we've been blending to our palate. I'll say that the new sleeks are a little bit not our palate, because neither one of us was the biggest San Andre fan. Vince, of course, hates it because if you know the leaf, it's a very thick, hard leaf to work with. And once again, where I say mad scientist was, we came out with these and everybody said, well, that's great, but it's a wide ring gauge. Nobody can do it in like a 48 ring gauge, a sub 50,
Right.
and still keep that draw.
Yeah.
But can you keep these flavors with the San Andre? And so if you find the new sleeks, they're 6x48 Churchills, and the commonality is they all have San Andre binders. And I will say that somewhere between 90 to 100%, we nailed the draw. So
Nice.
it's there, and that's really what it's about for us.
Right.
And it shows. The proof is in the pudding always.
Yeah.
Right.
David, I want to ask you. So, what are some other popular Glenmorangies that the audience members should be getting after these days?
Oh.
Yeah, good question. Well, I mean, obviously our flagship original, which, as you mentioned, has gone from a 10 to a 12-year-old, but really the flavor profile has stayed the same. That's a great entry into the world of Glenmorangie. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the greatest cigar whiskey because it is quite light. It's even lighter than the 18. But
Well, there's a lot of mild cigars out there that would probably pair well with it.
I'm just exposing my ignorance about cigars, which I'm a very part-time amateur cigar smoker. So, at the other end of the scale, something like Glenmorangie Signet, which is when we launched it, was certainly the only single malt that had ever been made using chocolate malted barley.
Right, you get those coffee notes in there that would pair excellently with a cigar.
We're just in the process of launching our first limited edition Signet, which will be Signet Reserve, which is taking the classic Signet recipe and then further extra maturing that in Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. So I guess if I could explain the flavor profile most easily, I'd say Signet is a double espresso. Signet Reserve is like a Cuban coffee with all that sugar in there. It's rich. It's even more intense, but it's got this sweetness to it as well. So I think both of those, for the right cigar, will have the guts to stand up to some big cigars. In amongst our extra matured range, we've got things like the Quinta Ruban, our 14-year-old, which is finished for the last 3 years in ruby port casks. Beautiful kind of chocolate-coated cherry notes in that one. So I'd be looking out for that. That's the whiskey that I had. Now, some people might want to shoot me here, but my wedding day cocktail was a Blood and Sand made with Glenmorangie Quinta Ruban.
Oh, nice.
I don't want to shoot you. I want to join you.
Hey, what's that fancy bottle you have up there on your left-hand side in front of you? There's like an older. Is that like an older?
Yeah.
Is like an older?
I looked this one out on purpose.
Yeah.
I wanted to give you a bit of if I may, a little history lesson. Here we have one of the first, not the absolute first, but one of the.
Now that has some peat in it, right?
Well, it's probably back. I don't know when this one particularly was bottled, but it may have been bottled back when we were still floor malting. Probably, I'm not sure. It certainly had.
That's a good bottle.
Things different here. It had a bit more sherry influence back when it first came out, way back, and it also, frankly, suffered from not having quite the same quality of casks that Dr. Bill has now really pulled the industry and our company into having much better quality casks on average. So I would, everyone wants to say things were better in the good old days. I would strongly argue that the new one is actually way better than the old one.
Yeah. Wow.
It's more fruitier.
Yeah.
It's far more complex than the old one. And the old one is fine. It's nice whiskey, but it's clunky. It just kind of plods along. The new one is elegant. It's complex. It's epic.
Right. And speaking of peat, you guys, Glenmorangie also owns Ardbeg.
Yeah. We do.
So why don't you give us a little taste of Ardbeg real quick before we. Yeah.
So Ardbeg, and what have I got here? There's an Ardbeg 19 with the wrong stopper in it, but there we go. Ardbeg,
beautiful whiskey.
So Ardbeg was rescued back in 1997 by the then still independently owned Glenmorangie Company, at the time still owned by the McDonald family, who'd owned Glenmorangie Company since about 1910.
Wow.
And Ardbeg had been, Ardbeg was an older distillery founded back in 1815 on the island of Islay, famous for being a very intensely peat smoked single malt. It had boom and bust cycles like no one's business. If you went back to 1887, Ardbeg was the biggest producing distillery on Islay, producing over 1 million liters of spirit and supporting a whole village of people and families. And we have archived letters from actually a lady writing to us from New York in the 1880s, 1890s, saying, I used to buy Ardbeg, I love it, but the store on Park Avenue that I used to buy it from has gone out of business. Can you ship me a cask of Ardbeg, please? A few things.
Wow.
It's in the mail.
Ideas have to be rewritten there. The idea that single malt wasn't a thing until much later, wrong. The idea that, Scotch whiskey isn't for women, well, we all know that's wrong. That smoky whiskey isn't for women, well, we know that's wrong. All the way back as far as like the 1880s. It's pretty fascinating. But then, you go forward to the 1980s, 100 years later, Ardbeg is shuttered completely from 81 to 89. Devastation. Everybody's moved out of the village, apart from a couple of fishermen. The team at Lafroig are coming over. A couple of dedicated guys are coming over and running the stills and just patching things up so it doesn't literally catch fire or fall down.
Wow.
There's a bit of distillation in 1990 by the previous owners, and then it tails off again, minimal, like a week or two a year through the early 90s. 96, it closes again. There's a brief bidding war, and in 97, Glenmorangie Company wins the bidding war as the second highest bidder, only in Scotland. Don't understand how that and then we bought the whole distillery and what stocks there were, and I say that pointedly because there was stocks from the 70s, small amounts. Anybody who tries to sell you, if anyone tries to sell you a 1983 or 1985, let's say, vintage Ardbeg, it is counterfeit because there was nothing distilled from 81 to 89.
And something unique about Ardbeg is the purifiers, right, on the line arm.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I believe Glen Grant and Ardbeg are the only two.
There's a couple of others. There's about 5 purifiers in use in Scotland, and I will. There's probably people watching who could run them off the top of their head.
Very few, though. It's very few.
Very few.
What is that? What is that purifier doing to the distillate?
So we're the only purifier on any distillery on Islay, and what we think it does is it takes some of the heaviest, least volatile components off the spirit still and recirculates them down back into the bottom of the still. And it's the reason why we can peat our barley to such incredible levels and still have something that's got a level of complexity. It isn't just an oil slick into your mouth.
No, I think this would even pair well with that Ardbeg 19 because the peat is so subtle in that Ardbeg 19 as well. So it would pair nice with the subtle notes of this cigar.
One of the things So a fun fact here is that we don't actually know for certain who or when the purifier was put on the distillery. We don't know, but it's probably, we've narrowed it down to a distillery manager who came in just post Second World War, and I've forgotten his name because I'm the worst at names.
No. I'm the worst at names.
Really?
I forgot the name.
I probably,
This is
I
our-
also
this is
got
our-
a pizza badge with my own name on it upside down, so I can.
This is our PD Pecorini here, by the way, if you
Pecorini,
weren't aware.
So
You can't
this
have that
distillery
title.
manager had previously come from running the what's now the Diamond Distillery, rum distillery in Guyana, which, if you know about that distillery, is like a cornucopia of weirdness. It's got every sort of still shape from every distillery that ever operated there. When they closed down, they bought the stills and amalgamated them into this one distillery, and including, and this is a thing, if anyone can explain to me how this works, a set of wooden stills.
Wow.
Wooden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you guess why there aren't very many wooden stills still functioning?
It might have something to do with fire.
Yes.
Wow.
You got it.
Wow.
Yeah. Even
All
the
right, so-
moonshiners knew they couldn't do that.
Yeah, really.
Right?
So I'll ask the board, any final thoughts on the whiskey, the cigar, how it's pairing together before we
I'm
go
gonna
to
go-
our
Yeah,
sponsorship?
go ahead, Genevieve.
Go ahead, Genevieve.
Yeah, so I am just enamored with these rings. And I know they're like, Michael, we need to talk. But you mentioned in chat that the rings aren't just for show.
Right. So, the interesting thing about the ring is, keep in mind, when you look at most cigars, they're paper bands. And that's because the band on the cigar, not every cigar is exactly the same size, right? If you take a box of cigars, you take them all out of the cello and you look at them, there's variation. It's a handmade product.
Right.
Well, when people ask us, why do you price your cigars, at this price, and why do you put them in this category? And of course, we explain the construction, and it's not just the way we construct them, it's the time that it takes. I won't get into, because everybody has different claims, but most people know in cigars, an average cigar rolling team, they can roll between 300 to 500 cigars in a day. In order to roll our cigars properly with the technique that Vince designed, our rollers can only do about 100 to 125.
Oh.
And we don't
Very sweet.
even, and the thing is, the ring is one of the two checks that we use, so that we don't need to use a machine to check the airflow on the cigar to see if it's constructed properly, because this ring, we know automatically that within about 2/10 of a gram of the weight of what the cigar should be when we weigh it. And then if we take the ring and we put this ring on, if it's any more than about just over 1/10 of a millimeter, it's about 0.12, 0.13. If this cigar varies in size from that, the ring won't fit. It'll either slide off or it'll crack the cigar.
Yes.
The
Right.
cigar is too thick.
Yeah.
So when we go in and test our cigars, we know if that cigar we put on the scale, it weighs that right amount, and this ring fits properly, we know it's been rolled properly, the construction's proper, and you're going to get that perfect draw.
If the ring doesn't fit, you must have quit.
That's quick. That's it.
Exactly.
No way.
I was actually.
I know.
Wow.
There's a real function for that. Yeah,
Right.
so if you get a cigar
Yeah.
with our
Right.
ring, you
No,
know it's
it's
been constructed
science.
properly.
I mean,
Right.
that's fast. That's fantastic. I just love it
Smart.
because.
So we'll go to a round of sponsorship after the
You
sponsorship.
have some questions
Final
too.
third. The final third.
Final third.
What are your thoughts?
And
It picks up in what I love is the retro is still as clean as ever.
Yep.
And it just, the intensity of the flavors are just now heightened. So it's just really now all of that baking spice,
right,
all
the
of
flavors are bolder.
that, flavors are bolder.
Right.
They're and it coats your mouth in a way with the whiskey that gives you that sense of being, I'm going to say, caressed. You're really being caressed by this pairing. You are. You're not. There's no harassment. This cigar does not harass. It puts you in a place that you should be mentally, physically, emotionally.
So now we have a caressing Christmas dinner.
Both the cigar and the whiskey are causing so much salivation for me. I feel like I'm drooling on myself.
Right. You drool every day, but this helps. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's not the pairing, Bob. It's just you. So stand by. We'll announce the Whiskey Network Cigar of the Year after this round of sponsorship and get into the trivia.
Absolutely, Joey. Thank you very much for your beautiful lead-in.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller Cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller Cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines. The Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, The Art of Magic.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Pommier XS VSOP Cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back-to-back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Boveda 2-way humidification.
All begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our 2 major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
And we
are back.
Alrighty, and it's trivia time. So
before
that, Frank.
the trivia.
Before the trivia, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, so it's put the website up for the cigars again. So
a lot of people asking about the
can
cigar.
get the information on the cigars. The whiskey you can find at your local retailer. Glenmorangie is I mean, it's everywhere.
Yes.
Right. I mean these guys wipe the board with it. So
you go to Glenmorangie.com as well. Our web shop will also take you to
Excellent. Yeah, but you see it all on the shelves.
Yeah.
It's very easily accessible and very delicious single malt whiskey. I highly recommend. So before we get to the trivia, earlier I mentioned my top 3 cigars of 2024. These are cigars that I have paired and done articles on throughout the year, not including this one, of course. It's going to be the West Tampa Red, the Segovias de Esteli Maduro semi-box press, and the Vintage Toro by Broncano Cigars. And my personal pick for the Whiskey Network Cigar of the Year for 2024 is going to be...
Hold on. Do we need an exclusive on
this? We
this?
need an exclusive.
We do need an exclusive, but hold on.
As soon as he figures it out.
Well, we have to look at it. It takes a lot. I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry. But
there it is. The Vintage Toro by Broncano Cigars is going to be the Whiskey Network 2024 Cigar of the Year.
Nice. Cigar of the Year. Very nice, Joey.
So congratulations to the team over there at Broncano Cigars. We'll be in touch. Absolutely.
All right, so it's time for trivia, and this part of the show, I'll show you our.
Mark Smith's like, yes.
Who said that?
Mark Smith.
Martin Smith. There we go. The man and the legend. Congratulations, Martin Smith, on having the #1.
Cheers! And what an incredible cigar.
Yep.
Certainly was.
And this is our. Okay, so before see, it's also
my gosh,
Michael. It was a donkey asked for trivia questions, and it graduated to a cartoon of Steve Saka. But the question I'm going to ask you guys.
What about for the first bunch of prizes? How about that? Everybody know?
We could do 2 prizes today. Why not?
Yeah. All right, we'll do this. So
this is the not the grand prize.
Not the grand prize. Yes, not the grand. So tonight we're gonna have a beautiful hat by Steve Saka, Dumbarton Tobacco. There we go. Nice. Yeah. We're also gonna have the Vertigo ashtray, so you can take it anywhere you go. And it's in the box. It's brand new, and you can keep it in your car, whatever you want. Bring it so you can actually show, how to keep clean with those ashes. There we go.
Yep.
All right.
Keep clean with the ashes.
Keep clean. Keep anywhere you go, nice and clean. You don't have to be like Frank dropping cigar ashes all over a pool table and having to clean up after yourself. Okay. And keep the cigars when you get it. Maybe the winner tonight.
Nice.
By Oliva Nub. You're going to have a cigar packet.
Yeah, you keep 3 cigars in there.
3 cigars in there. Yep, it's inside. I don't want to take it out. So that's our #1 prizes for tonight.
And then we'll give away the grand.
Obviously, the grand prize.
Yes, I'll show the grand prize yet again so people can get a sense as to what they're going to get. So, Michael, you could tell them about that beautiful 4-course, what I like to say, meal in cigars. And the Glenmorangie, Morangie, as I tell you.
You gotta roll the R like you're
right.
Like you're a Harley Davidson.
Michael, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, we call that our 4-course aficionado pack. It basically contains one of each of our collection series. So it includes the Gold Standard V that we were smoking on the show tonight, which is as I said before, our original Dominican Puro with a Criollo 98. It includes our Palladium, which is the Silver Ring, which is our other Dominican Puro, and it's a Habano wrapper. It includes the The Golden Ruby Ring is our Honor cigar, which is a Connecticut shade, and it has a Nicaraguan binder. And then the last is our War, which is the Black Ring, and that is Dominican fillers, a Nicaraguan binder, and an African Cameroon wrapper.
Nice. Wow.
Wow.
What a great giveaway. Thank you so very much, Michael, for that.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Alrighty.
Thanks for having me.
So here's a question or two for the dais, as I like to call it, and no answer is too ridiculous. So let's see how up to date you are on your history, just because that's what I like to do. So in 1963, this 6-year-old, his singing debut is on the Andy Williams Show in 1960.
6 years old?
6 years old in 1963, Bob. I know you're doing your math. I know you're thinking about it. He was part of a brothers group.
Yeah.
Bee Gees, Robin.
Oh, Everly Brothers.
No.
63.
Yeah. A family. Let's call it a family.
The Bee Gees.
No.
Right, Donny Osmond.
Donny Osmond. Donny Osmond.
Osmond. No, I never listened to them.
Oh, wow.
That's why I like listening to Marie. She's a country.
Yeah, you were listening. That's right.
Yep.
That's what you're doing.
He was only listening.
Only.
He does. Only listen.
Donnie was my rock and roller back then, and Marie was my
Keep
little
the hands
cowgirl.
on the table, buddy.
Oh, come on. You had a poster on your wall, I'm sure.
Right next to Farrah Fawcett, but don't tell nobody.
Okay, one more for you guys, and then we're going to go through some prizes. How's that? This English mathematician who happens to be a woman was first called the computer programmer. She was born on this date in history way back when. Like
19.
But
19.
who was this?
Oh, he worked on the what do you call the atomic bomb? Wasn't that the bomb?
She worked on the atomic bomb.
There was a woman who was a calculator at NASA.
Well, that's a different woman.
Okay.
Wasn't she one who was breaking the codes in the World War II?
No.
It wasn't Morse.
Her name.
This is the not Florence Nightingale, but what is the?
Yeah, she's getting close. Well, I'm gonna if I
Melissa Curry.
No, if I give you her last name, I don't want these guys to go down a very large rabbit.
Oh, you mean that Lovelace woman?
Lovelace.
Lovelace. Not Linda, you animals, you.
We know Linda.
You see what I mean? I knew they were going to.
We know Linda. Oh my goodness!
You see?
Wow.
She's a mathematician, not a porn star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she counted by the inch. What can I tell you?
Oh.
He had to do it.
He had to do it.
No class.
This was a
No
classy
class.
show until Ronnie appeared.
I've been here all night. Have you seen me? Every Tuesday night. Well, folks, don't worry about it. Ronnie Dangerfield.
This question is
for the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Why not?
For the hat and the nub thing.
The hat, the nub.
Okay. This was on this date in history in 1985. This movie, based on the book by Isaac Dennison and directed by Sidney Pollack and starring Meryl Streep and Robert Redford, premiered in Los Angeles. Do not answer. This is for the audience.
Oh, okay.
1985. It was released on this. Premiered on this. Robert Redford.
Something, Frank.
Sidney Pollack was director.
I'll tell you what, the audience is really slow on their Google.
I know they are. You would think that somebody would. Wait a minute. Who's the first one to say
Out of Africa?
Somebody said
Out of India?
Matt Polly? Yeah.
Out of India.
Out of India. Wrong.
No,
Out of
no.
Africa. JM Dive. You know what? Out of India. That's a new release.
Out of Africa.
David Jakes out of Africa. Bring it down. Make sure we got everybody. Go a little.
We've got
On
everybody.
the big screen.
It was JM Dive. See, Matt
JM
Polly.
Dive.
Damn dive.
Matt Polly goes out of India. Whoops. Wrong country. Wrong country. It's JM Dive out of Africa. You're the winner for our Dumbarton and Nub and all that other cool stuff.
Nice.
So there you go.
Hold on. David Jakes here, buddy. Review
No.
that.
Where?
I got David Jakes.
After.
No, I got it. Listen, right on the top here. I'm looking at it. It's right after.
Out of India. Next one.
It's the next one, right? It's right after. I'm not wrong, Ronnie. Ronnie, I'm never wrong. Remember
Oh.
this. The one thing,
Whoa.
I run this segment, and if I say that's who the winner is,
I'm telling you. Okay.
They're not. They're here. I'm looking at it directly right in front of me. Hey,
We are too.
it's close. It's a close. David Jakes
All right.
was a close third.
Third. Oh.
He was the third answer. David, you did almost. You
Okay.
did almost win.
Got to get
But-
faster
but
internet.
You got to get a faster internet.
Faster internet.
That's it. Now
you said
everybody,
you're
you
gonna
know,
have
everybody is like itching for the next one because it's going to be for the big
Oh
prize.
yeah.
So
Oh, is this one?
All right. So Matt Polly won the small prize.
no, Matt Polly did not win the
didn't
pro
win.
prize.
Can I answer
Ronnie,
this
Didn't
one?
win. That's it.
Damn dive.
he got India. He said out of
Oh.
India, Matt Polly.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
It's
The different
JM
places,
Dive.
guys.
JM
Different
Dive.
places.
JM Dive. All right. Hey, JM Dive, make sure you send me your address so I can get that out to you, buddy.
Yep. I like the fact that out of India, he goes. So, out of India, it's it might be a movie that they
Close.
produced because
Coming to a theater near
Near
you.
you.
Yes.
In search of Mike Cigars.
Okay, ready, folks?
All right.
This is for the big prize. This is for the big.
The big one. Get ready, everybody. This is the big one.
On this date in history, this prize was first distributed, marking the 5th anniversary of the death of this inventor of dynamite. Who is the inventor of dynamite? And also the prizes that they give out because of this great inventor.
I know Mike.
I know the answer. Can I get my bottle of whiskey?
Sorry, I don't have whiskey. I know the answer.
Look at, I like Will Mahoney. He goes,
Nobel.
Nobel. Yeah, Noble. Yes, exactly. First person to say Noble. Exactly. It's the Nobel Prize.
But should it be the first person to know the first name?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly. What's the first name?
Well, you didn't say that, did you?
Alfred
No, he said what
Nobel. So we
prize?
have Chris Coulter saying Alfred Nobel, but you know
Colin
what?
McClure said
Matt Colley
Alfred.
said Alfred Nobel before, and Matt Colin.
Yeah, there's a bunch of, but I like the first Noble.
Okay.
Yeah, Will Mahoney.
Will Mahoney. Will Mahoney. You know what?
Yeah.
It's not Nobi. That's wrong. Brent,
No, but then he changed it to Noble right after that.
no, he
I didn't
didn't.
know what he was
No, he
getting
didn't.
at.
Because Brent Hagen came in and said Nobel. Will Mahoney then said Noble after he made the tragic error of
Well,
spelling.
that's spell
Oh,
check for you.
wait, I'm out. I got David Jakes between Will Mahoney and Brett Hagen.
Ronnie,
I just give it to
Oh.
Colin McClure for being the first one to say Alfred Nobel.
Oh, I like the first one to say Alfred Nobel. And then it's Colin the
Oh, that was
See,
that too.
see, there's a Scotsman going for a guy called McClure. That's what we want.
the guy.
I want you guys decide so they can be mad at you whoever you don't pick.
They could be
Well,
mad
this-
at you.
I just provided the cigars. See, everybody's happy with me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's true. I'm not making a decision.
See,
You know-
stay with me, David. I got you.
Hey, Joey, since you're the one who's giving away the bottle side of this, what do you think? Do you think you need Alfred in there, Nobel? Or do you just go for the Nobel, not Nobi or Nob, as
You
the first
said what prize? This prize was given to.
two? Right.
I say we go with the first
Nobel
Nobel.
The first
Nobel.
Nobel, right?
Nobel.
Exactly. Nobel.
Yeah, because we didn't ask for a full name.
Right.
No, I
And
did
Noble is his name.
Yes,
So,
and Noble is his name. And Noble was his name. N-O-B-E-L.
hey, folks, you can see that we're trying to get this right. I mean, I know there's some people going to be upset, but we're trying to get it right here, guys.
They're not gonna
Really.
be upset. Listen, how could they be upset? They had a great show. We learned so much. You can't be upset. Just go out and get them. Just go to the website.
So who's the fucking winner?
I told you who the winner was.
Will Mahoney.
No, Will Mahoney.
No,
did
Will
not.
Mahoney was not the winner.
Put the winner up on the screen, Frank.
Who is it?
It's
Brent Hagen.
Brent Hagen.
Fred Hagen.
All right,
No,
congratulations.
no.
What do you mean, no? Ronnie, I'm looking at it on
I'm-
my
we're
screen.
looking-
I think Rodney's internet.
We're
is
looking
wrong.
at here too, man.
No,
What's
Ron,
going on there?
forget about looking at it on your phone. That does
Look
not
over
count.
there.
It's on the
Yeah, you can't
stream.
get it on your
No?
It's
Okay.
on the stream. It's how
All
it
right.
appears
It's on the stream.
It's on the stream.
On
Okay.
the
on the
stream.
stream.
Congratulations, Brent. We'll get the bottle out to you.
Brent Hagen is a lucky man. He's been kicking ass and taking names. Oh, he's spelling things correctly. Will, I love you, but no is no.
No.
No is no.
All right, so thank you everybody for participating tonight.
Leave Will alone now.
David, Michael, Genevieve, of course. Whiskey Network would not run without you. We appreciate everybody that participated tonight. Thank you. This was an excellent show, excellent pairing. The article will drop on January 5th, 2025.
Awesome.
And congratulations to Martin Smith of Broncano Cigars.
Yes, congratulations, Martin.
Yeah.
Well deserved. And Michael, can't say enough about your cigar line.
Yeah.
Folks, you have to go out, seek it out. This isn't a cigar that you're going to forget about. It's going to be a cigar that will be memorable. And again, thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, guys. That's about as good of a holiday gift as I could ask for. So happy holidays.
Yeah.
And
You
Right.
too.
see you
Thank you, buddy.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
I'll see everybody next year.
thank
All
you.
right.
See everybody next week with Luciano Cigars and Luciano, and see you then.
Great cigar.
Tell my brothers to line 'em up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but I sure it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful. I feel its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful.